Broadcasts of the City of Neenah Common Council meetings are produced by University Studios of the University of Wisconsin-Fox Valley. Neenah residents can get information about City Council meetings, City Committee meetings, meeting agendas, and other documents via the City website, www.neenahgov.org. Neenah residents can express their opinions about city issues or about these broadcasts by contacting the mayor's office, contacting their city alderman, or by completing the electronic feedback form on the city website, www.neenahgov.org. All public portions of the meetings are recorded in entirety and are not edited for playback.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us at the City of Neenah Common Council meeting for October 18th, 2023. The first item on the agenda is the roll call. Please indicate your presence on your roll call device, and the clerk will call the roll.
Alderman Boyette is excused. Alderman Erickson?
Here.
Hillstrom?
Here.
Lendrum?
Here.
Steiner?
Here.
Stevenson?
Here.
Skirms? Appearing by phone. Weber?
Here.
And Borchard is
Sorry, a little technical difficulty.
It's the top button on the back. Lower right-hand corner. There's a round button, and there's several straight ones.
Don't hit the one below it. Pull up.
Thank you. Alderman Lendrum will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance.
This evening, I have the pleasure of doing two proclamations. The first being October is National Arts and Humanities Month. So I will read that proclamation. Whereas the nation's 120,000 nonprofit arts organizations, the National Endowment for the Arts, the National Endowment for the Humanities, the nation's 4,500 local arts agencies and communities across the country, and the Arts and Humanities Council of the 50 states and the 6 U.S. jurisdictions and districts have regularly issued official proclamations on an annual basis designating October as National Arts and Humanities Month. And whereas cities and states, through their local and state arts agencies, which represent thousands of cultural organizations, have celebrated the value and importance of culture in the lives of Americans and the health of thriving communities during National Arts and Humanities Month for nearly 30 years. And whereas the humanities help diverse communities across the United States explore their history and culture with the support and partnership of the National Endowment for the Humanities, the 50 state and 6 jurisdiction and district humanities councils and local educational and cultural institutions, and whereas the arts and humanities embody so much of the accumulated wisdom, intellect, and imagination of humankind, and whereas the arts and humanities enhance and enrich the lives of everyone in America, and whereas the arts and humanities play a unique role in the lives of our families, our communities, and our country, And whereas despite significant losses due to the coronavirus pandemic, the creative industries remain among the most vital sectors of the American economy, providing new opportunities for developing cities, creating jobs and economic activity within their own industry and across sectors, and making communities attractive to business development. And whereas the nation's arts and culture sector, nonprofit, commercial education is an $877 billion industry that supports 4.6 million jobs, representing 4.2% of the nation's economy, a larger share of GDP than powerhouse sectors such as agriculture, transportation, and utilities, and boasts a $33 billion international trade surplus. And whereas the nonprofit arts industry alone generates $27.5 billion in government revenue and $166.3 billion in economic activity annually by organizations and audiences, including spending by attendees to arts events of $31.47 per person per event, beyond the cost of admission on items such as meals, parking, and lodging, making the arts a vital income source for local businesses. And whereas Neenah's very own Bergstrom Mahler Museum of Glass is currently celebrating their successful reaccreditation with the American Alliance of Museums, and very few museums achieve this high standard of excellence, and we are incredibly proud of them for having achieved such an honor. Now therefore be it resolved that I, Jane B. Lang, Mayor of the City of Neenah, do hereby proclaim October as National Arts and Humanities Month in Neenah, Wisconsin, and call upon our community members to celebrate and promote the arts and culture in our nation, and to specifically encourage greater participation by said community members in taking action for the arts and humanities in their towns and cities, and recognize the Bergstrom Mahler Museum of Glass specifically as an exceptional art museum in our own community. Signed and sealed this 18th day of October, 2023. I would like to ask the Executive Director of the Bergstrom Mahler Museum of Glass, Amy Moorfield, to come forward and accept the proclamation. Yes. The second proclamation that I'll be reading is for Community Planning Month. Whereas change is constant and affects all cities, towns, suburbs, counties, boroughs, townships, rural areas, and other places, and whereas community planning and plans can help manage this change in a way that provides better choices for how people work and live, and whereas community planning provides an opportunity for all residents to be meaningfully involved in making choices that determine the future of their community, and whereas the full benefits of planning requires public officials and citizens who understand, support, and demand excellence in planning and plan implementation, and whereas the month of October is designated as National Community Planning Month throughout the United States of America and its territories, and whereas American Planning Association endorses National Community Planning Month as an opportunity to highlight how planning is essential to recovery and how planners can lead communities to equitable, resilient, and long-lasting recovery. Whereas the celebration of National Community Planning Month gives us the opportunity to publicly recognize the participation and dedication of the members of planning commissions and other citizen planners who have contributed their time and expertise to the improvement of the city of Neenah. And whereas we recognize the many valuable contributions made by professional, community, and regional planners of the city of Neenah, and extend our heartfelt thanks for the continued commitment to public service by these professionals. Now therefore be it resolved that the month of October 23 is hereby designated as Community Planning Month in the city of Neenah in conjunction with the celebration of National Community Planning Month, signed and sealed October 18th, 2023. And I would specifically like to thank our excellent community development staff and the planners that we have here at the city of Neenah. The next item on the agenda is the introduction and confirmation of mayor's appointments. The appointment of Eileen McCoy, Peter Casper, and John Rather to the Neenah Harbor Committee for a 3-year term ending October 2026. And the appointment of Angela Larson as the YMCA representative to the Neenah Arts Council for the remainder of Megan Johnson's term, expiring April 2026. Is there any objection to unanimous consent of those appointments? Seeing none, those appointments are so ordered. Are any of those individuals here to be sworn in this evening? Seeing none of them here, they will participate in their swearing in at a later date. The next item on the agenda is the approval of the council proceedings from October 4th regular session and the approval of the Committee of the Whole minutes of October 4th, 2023. Is there any objection to unanimous consent of approval of those council proceedings? Seeing none, those proceedings minutes are approved. The next item on the agenda is the public hearing portion of tonight's meeting. The first public hearing is consideration of ordinance number 2023-15, amending the official street map by removing the 66-foot wide street reservations between County Road II and Larson Road in the town of Clayton. I would like to open that public hearing. Is there anyone here who would like to speak during this public hearing? Is there anyone here who would like to speak considering ordinance 2023-15? Anyone who would like to speak on that? Seeing no one, I will close the public hearing on consideration of ordinance 2023-15. The next public hearing is consideration of ordinance number 2023-16, rezoning property located along Henry Street and Tyler Street to I-2 General Industrial District. Is there anyone here who would like to speak on ordinance number 2023-16? Please come forward and state your name and address.
Pedro Barraza, 138 Tyler Street. This is the first time I'm doing something like this, never done it before. I just want to know how is it going to affect the property value of the houses around there. I own one in there. I need to know how it's going to affect me and probably the rest of the neighbors in the area.
Okay. During the public hearing, you can ask questions, and then when the public hearing is closed, we will address those questions. Is there anyone else who would like to speak on ordinance number 2023-16? Anyone? Considering ordinance number 2023-16. Seeing no one, I will close that public hearing and move on to item C, consideration of resolution number 2023-27, amending the project plan and amending tax increment district number 9 boundaries. Is there anyone here who would like to speak on resolution number 2023-27? Is there anyone here who would like to speak on 2023-27? Anyone who would like to speak? Seeing no one, I will close that public hearing. The next item on the agenda is the Plan Commission report pertaining to the public hearings and regular meeting. Alderman Steiner.
Thank you, Mayor. Plan Commission meeting was held on October 10th, 2023. Minutes can be found on the city website. Commission recommends council approve ordinance 2023-15, amending the official street map by removing the 66-foot wide street reservations between County Road, Double I, and Larson Road in the town of Clayton, and I so move.
There's a motion by Alderman Steiner, seconded by Alderman Hillstrom. Is there any discussion on this item? Any discussion, any questions? Seeing none, please cast your vote on your voting device for recommendation of approval of ordinance number 2023-15.
Alderman Skirms. I vote has been recorded.
That motion passes 7-0.
Commission recommends council approve ordinance number 2023-16, rezoning property located along Henry Street and Tyler Street to I-2 General Industrial District, and I so move.
There's a motion by Alderman Steiner, seconded by Alderman Stevenson. Is there a discussion on this item? I'd like to see the question addressed. Director Hayes.
Thank you, Mayor. So the certainly rezoning can have an impact on neighborhoods. The I-2 zoning allows the property to be developed with all the uses that are permitted within that district. However, with that also comes the requirement that they comply with all the standards of the district. With that I-2 zoning, we have what we believe are sufficient safeguards, setbacks, landscaping, site plan review and approval by the Plan Commission that are put in place to help protect and avoid the concern that you have raised of diminishing property value. So we have a fairly good track record of that. We have our entire industrial park in the south side of town abuts, for the most part, a single-family neighborhood. Those measures are in place there as well. And although I haven't looked at them specifically, I have a pretty good hunch that those property values haven't been affected by that adjacent land use. So that's really all I can answer is we do our best to make sure that we put those measures in place again to protect the value of properties like yours.
Are there other questions, concerns from council?
I can just make the comment, I actually live right by that South Industrial Park, and in my experience, not in terms of hard data, but just anecdotal, houses sell very quickly at much higher rates than what they were purchased for a few years ago. I found the neighborhood that I live in to be a very robust market, and in fact, I walk through that industrial park quite often. It's very close to my house. So.
Any further discussion? Thank you for coming and sharing your concerns with us, and I hope that we've addressed. Seeing no further requests to speak, I'd ask you to cast your vote on your voting device regarding approval of ordinance number 2023-16.
Alderman Skirms. And I vote has been recorded.
That motion passes 7-0.
Commission recommends council approve resolution number 2023-27, amending project plan and amending tax increment district number 9 boundaries, and I so move.
There's a motion by Alderman Steiner, seconded by Alderman Weber. Is there any discussion on this item? Any questions or concerns? Seeing none, please cast your vote on your voting device regarding approval of resolution number 2023-27.
Alderman Skirms? My vote has been recorded.
That motion passes 7-0.
Commission recommends council approve resolution 2023-24, the relocation order to amend the plat for the 2025 South Commercial Street reconstruction project between Stanley Street and Tyler Street. And this is an action item that will take place under the Public Services and Safety Committee report. And that concludes my report.
Thank you for your report. The next item on the agenda is the public forum. This is the opportunity for anyone from the public to speak on any topic they have interest in, that they feel would be pertinent to the council. You're allowed 5 minutes to speak on any topic, and we ask that you give your name and residential address. Is there anyone who would like to speak in the public forum? Please come up.
My name is Donald Bickham. I live at 113 North John Street, and I have two concerns. One is train horns. I understand they are necessary for safety, but at 2, 3, and 4 o'clock in the morning, laying on the horn or sometimes multiple second bursts is more than a little annoying. Now, I understand that there is a quiet zone ordinance and that working with the railroads is not an easy task, but it is a little annoying, especially me being, by a fairly active mind, and, during the day when there's a lot more, I'm guessing, vehicular traffic. I don't hardly ever hear the train horns on the Lake Street heading north line, but at 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, most people are trying to sleep then. I understand some people get up early to go to work, but my alarm is set at like 6 or 6:30, not 3:30, and it's, I'm not sure what can be done, but it would be nice if, something was done to address this problem. I've been told by railroad people that the engineers, that tend to blow the whistle longer, probably have had incidents in the past where they've struck some object, whether it's, animal, person, vehicle, whatever. But it's fairly annoying. And the other item is I ride the bus, the moving of the bus shelter, the brick one that was on Church and Doty. And I understand, that gets involved with Valley Transit, and that's always fun dealing with two governmental bodies. But I was here a year ago talking about this, and the brick building is still, over on Church Street, and the non-heated shelter with winter approaching again is, about 200 feet that way. It was nice to have a heated shelter, especially in the wintertime when, winds can get heavy and so forth. So that was my other issue. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who would like to speak during the public forum portion of tonight's meeting? Anyone else? Seeing no one, I will close the public forum portion of tonight's meeting. The next item on the agenda is Mayor Council consideration of public forum issues. I'll just address Mr. Bickham. We have addressed that train horn issue in the past, but it hasn't been for a while, so we can certainly reach out to them again and ask them for consideration in blowing that horn at night. And then I would like to ask Director Hayes to just give a quick update on where we're at with the bus shelter issue.
Well, ironically, Jerry just asked me before the meeting where we are with that because and we need to reach out to East Central. They are conducting a study on prospective locations, hopefully with a recommendation. But we have not seen the final report, nor have we had a conversation with them in probably a month or two. So that needs to happen. Our expectation was that was going to be completed yet this fall, so obviously we're running out of time. So I don't have a good answer for you as to where that is. I do have my hunch that the recommendation will most likely result in a recommendation to keep the bus shelter where it currently is right outside of our building, but I don't know that with all certainty until we see that report.
Thank you for that update. Is there anyone else on the council who would like to address any or either of those issues? Seeing no one, we'll move on to item 9, the consent agenda. There's nothing on the consent agenda tonight. So moving on to reports of standing committees, the regular Public Services and Safety Committee meeting of October 10th. Chairman Lendrum.
Thank you, Mayor. I will be reporting out for the regular Public Services and Safety Committee meeting on October 10th of 2023. The minutes can be found on the city website. We have 4 items tonight. Item number 1, committee recommends council approve resolution 2023-24, the relocation order to amend the plat for the 2025 South Commercial Street reconstruction project between Stanley Street and Tyler Street. And I would so move.
So motion by Alderman Lendrum, seconded by Alderman Weber. Is there any discussion on this item? Any questions or concerns? Seeing none, please cast your vote on your voting device for approval of Resolution 2023-24.
Alderman Skirms? And my vote is recorded.
That motion passes 7-0.
Item number 2, committee recommends council approve resolution 2023-26, authorizing the application for Wisconsin Department of Natural Resources surface water grants. And after I move, I just want to make a note that Director Kading is here, so if anyone has any questions on what this is, he's happy to help answer those questions. And I will move.
There's a motion by Alderman Lendrum, seconded by Alderman Hillstrom. Is there any discussion on approval of Resolution 2023-26, authorizing the application for Wisconsin Department of Natural Resources surface water grants? Is there any discussion on this item? Seeing none, please cast your vote on approval of Resolution 2023-26.
Alderman Skirms? And I vote has been recorded.
That motion passes 7-0.
Item number 3, committee recommends council approve the purchase of new Motorola radios with programming from Baycom Incorporated in an amount not to exceed $140,000 with funding appropriated from the approved 2023 capital improvement plan. And I would so move, and members of the police department are here if anyone has any questions.
There's a motion by Alderman Lendrum, seconded by Alderman Hillstrom, to approve the purchase of new Motorola radios. Is there any discussion on this item? Any questions? Seeing none, please cast your vote for the approval of the purchase of new Motorola radios with programming from Baycom in an amount not to exceed $140,000 with funding appropriated from the approved 2023 capital improvements plan.
Alderman Skirms. My vote has been recorded.
That motion passes 7-0.
And finally, item number 4, committee recommends council approve the transfer of original Class B combination alcohol beverage retail license application and plan of operation for Generation Paulson Incorporated, doing business as Layla's Place, 218 West Wisconsin Avenue, Christopher Paulson, this will be contingent upon the city receiving a signed transfer application from owner agent Christopher Paulson, and the application fee is paid, and I would so move.
There's a motion by Alderman Lundrum, seconded by Alderman Steiner. Is there any discussion on this item?
Just wanted to let everybody know that the contingencies have been met.
Thank you.
Alderman Stevenson.
Thank you, Mayor. Just, I think a notification to the council. This is the last available license, correct?
No.
We have one more?
Yes, Applebee's.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, this is just changing ownership of the license, the bar. So
Yep.
it's just trans.
Thank you.
Is there any other discussion on this item? Seeing none, please cast your vote for approval of the transfer of this Class B combination alcohol beverage retail license on your voting device.
Alderman Skirms. Yes, what has been recorded.
That motion passes 7-0.
And that's the end of my report.
Thank you for your report. The next item on the agenda is the regular Finance and Personnel Committee meeting of October 9th. Chairman Erickson.
Thank you, Mayor. Reporting out from the regular Finance and Personnel Committee meeting of October 9th, 2023. The minutes can be found on the city's website. Item number 1, the committee recommends council approve the second addition to the homes at Freedom Meadows Subdivision Development Agreement. Action on this item is taken under Board of Public Works. Item number 2, committee recommends council approve Proposal 3 from 3M Employee Benefits Insurance as the health plan for FY24 plan year, resulting in an expected increase of 9.68% over the prior year. And I so move.
There's a motion by Alderman Erickson, seconded by Alderman Steiner. Is there any discussion, any questions on this item? Any questions? Being none, please cast your vote for a recommendation of approval of Proposal 3 from 3M Employee Benefits Insurance for fiscal year 24.
Alderman Skirms. Yes, has been recorded.
That motion passes 7-0.
And that concludes my report.
Thank you for your report. The next item on the agenda is the Board of Public Works meeting of October 10th. Vice Chairperson Hillstrom.
Thank you, Mayor Lang. The minutes from this meeting can be found on the city website. This evening, I have 7 informational items and 1 council action item. First informational item is the board-approved pay request number 5, contract 1-23, sanitary sewer, water main and street construction, Burr Avenue, Chestnut Street, Peacoff Street, and Loudon Boulevard to Don E. Parker Excavating Incorporated in the amount of $248,233.80. Item B, the board-approved pay request number 1, contract 7-23, sanitary and storm sewer, water main and street construction, High Street and River Street, Carl Bowers and Sons Construction Incorporated, in the amount of $264,764.05. Item C, the board-approved pay request number 1, contract 10-23, parking lot resurfacing, 2-inch asphalt mat overlay in Freedom Acres and homes at Freedom Meadows and the library bump out. Northeast asphalt in the amount of $302,401.15. Item D, Board approved pay request number 2, contract 11-23, street construction, Brookwood Drive, Fairwood Drive, and Hunt Avenue to Northeast Asphalt in the amount of $169,009.84. Item E, Board approved pay request number 2 for contract 1-23 West Cecil Street Water Tower repainting to Federal Incorporated in the amount of $211,625. Item F, Board approved change order number 1, contract 1-23 West for the West Cecil Street Water Tower repainting, Federal Incorporated, Hastings, Michigan, for additional inspection costs in the amount of minus $5,625. Item G, Board approved pay request number 6, Arrowhead Park Phase 2B pier construction from London Construction Company in the amount of $29,450 for work completed through September 30th, 2023, utilizing approved budget 2021 CIP carry forward funds. And the last item is the council action item. The board recommends council approve the second edition, the Homes at Freedom Meadows Subdivision Development Agreement, and I would so move.
There's a motion by Alderman Hillstrom, seconded by Alderman Erickson for approval of the second addition to the Homes at Freedom Meadows Subdivision Development Agreement. Is there any discussion on this item? Any questions or concerns on this item? Seeing none, please cast your vote for approval of the second addition to the Homes at Freedom Meadows Subdivision Development Agreement. Cast that on your voting device.
Alderman Skirms? Yes, vote has been recorded.
That motion passes 7-0.
That's all I have under Board of Public Works, Mayor.
Thank you for your report. Hope you have a glass of water handy. The next item on the agenda is reports from neighborhood groups. Alderman Skirms, would you like to give your report on the bid board or postpone that to the following? Yes, we can. Thank you.
Thank you, Neenah. The bid reviewed this agreement. We have two. Here. Well, stated.
Thank you for your report. The next item is the library board. Alderman Erickson.
Thank you, Mayor. The Neenah Public Library Board of Trustees met today at 4 o'clock. I'd like to highlight 2 items. The first thing is this Saturday, there is the Monster Mash Kids Dance at Shattuck Park at 10:30. Kids are invited to come in costume. There will be dancing and a craft to take home. And then I'd also like to mention that the speed puzzling competition opened last Saturday at 5 and was filled within a half hour, and there are 10 people on the waiting list. And that concludes my report.
Thank you for your report. The next item on the agenda is the Neenah Arts Council. Alderman Erickson.
Thank you, Mayor. The Neenah Arts Council met last Wednesday night, and we discussed the Neenah Public Library Neenah Arts Council photo competition and the changes that are being planned for next year. So if you are out and about taking photos of the beautiful fall foliage, please save your photos for the art competition, which will be in the spring of the year. And that concludes my report.
Thank you for your report. Next item on the agenda, the Landmarks Commission. Alderman Weber, is there a report?
There is. Thank you, Mayor. The Landmarks Commission met last Wednesday. There were 2 items of discussion, a short debrief by the commission on the canoe trip and just some prep for if it will occur again in the following years. We spent most of the time during last week's discussion talking about open positions on the commission. We have a few due to people stepping off, and we also have an open alternate position. So if anybody has any thoughts or suggestions, please let the mayor know, or let myself know, or let Carol Casimore know, and we will then bring our suggestions back to Mayor Lane. So that concludes my report.
Thank you for your report. Community Development Authority, Director Hayes.
Thank you, Mayor. The CDA had a meeting last week, or this week, I'm sorry. They were up, no action items other than approval of an easement for powering the building that's adjacent to the Harrison Street Pond. CDA was updated on several projects that we're working on, including Lawrence Salvage Yard, the remediation there, Donaldson's Dry Cleaners, updated on the parking ramp, and I know I'm missing one other. So that was the action of the CDA. While I have the mic, I'll just let the council know that we closed on the old canvas building or buildings on South Commercial yesterday, so we'll be moving forward with demolition estimates to get those buildings taken away. So happy to answer any questions on any of those, either here or if you have desire, you can certainly give me a call or catch me after the meeting. Thank you.
Thank you for your report. Are there any petitions?
No petitions.
Are there any council directives? Is there any unfinished business? Under new business, we have the Arrowhead Park Development Status Report. Alderman Hillstrom.
Thank you, Mayor. This one will be a lot shorter. So since the last meeting, the technical committee has met with Mike Bell from RDG twice, and the task force has met with him again this last Monday, all virtually meetings. So we were going over final discussions on what was going to be in the master plan, which we will now be receiving in about 2 weeks. That concludes my report.
Thank you for your report. Are there any announcements? Alderman Steiner.
I just wanted to really quick thank the various department heads and the mayor and fellow council members for the well wishes and the cards in regards to my mom's passing. So it meant a lot, and thank you for that.
Are there any other announcements? Seeing none, is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
There's a motion to adjourn by Alderman Stevenson, seconded by Alderman Weber. All those in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? We are adjourned. Thank you very much.
Broadcasts of the City of Neenah Common Council meetings are produced by University Studios of the University of Wisconsin, Fox Valley. Neenah residents can get information about City Council meetings, City Committee meetings, meeting agendas, and other documents via the city website, www.neenahgov.org. Neenah residents can express their opinions about city issues or about these broadcasts by contacting the mayor's office, contacting their city alderman, or by completing the electronic feedback form on the city website, www.neenahgov.org. All public portions of the meetings are recorded in entirety and are not edited for playback.